We had a really foggy start here to the day. Since opened up a little bit more to some clouds. Temperatures are quite mild as well. Good afternoon. I'm meteorologist Erin Ashley. We're tracking the return of spring-like temperatures, spring-like storms as well. Yes, some of these could be on the stronger side as well because we are tracking record heat as soon as tomorrow. This is our time lapse, our Newport on the Levee time lapse. Taking a look at all that fog that we had moving through the tri-state earlier on today. Very dense, especially around the area waterways like we had mentioned yesterday. Whereas today, during the daylight hours, it's at least opened up a little bit. Here's where we stand right now at our Newport on the Levee camera. Looking at the Purple People Bridge, of course. A little bit of a mirror look to the Ohio River from the Yellow Bridge, the 475 bridge over there. Your temperature right now, 45 degrees. Mostly sunny skies going to help temperatures get right back into the low 60s this afternoon. So I know it's going to be kind of a big jump. We're going to go from the middle 40s now to near 60 towards the middle of the day. But some of us are actually very close to that already. We got many of us in the 50s down in northern Kentucky and in parts of southwestern Ohio as well. So that includes Georgetown, West Union, both at 55, Maysville also at 55, and Vevey at 57 degrees. While talking about the weather a little bit more. Okay, I think okay, we're good now. That was weird. It's never done that before. Okay, let's talk a little bit more about what's happening up in the sky, because while it is sunny, it's not all sunny. It's filtered sunshine that we're seeing in this much bigger system that is going to be eventually bringing on in those rain chances for Thursday. High pressure nestled just south of the tri-state, and so what that means, we're getting a nice southerly breeze. Our next weather makers, plural, going to be rolling off the Rockies here today, and we'll have a better idea of how Thursday is going to behave once we get to seeing what these guys are going to behave. So out the door the next few hours, it's going to be pretty warm. Temperature is going to be nearing 60 degrees once again this afternoon. We're in the middle 40s where we have seen the thicker clouds. Where we haven't seen the thicker clouds, we're already in the 50s. And of course, clouds going to be building late tonight into your Wednesday, which we do have a little bit of rain in that forecast like we've been tracking since the weekend. But also, like we've been saying since the weekend, not looking as impressive at all compared to what we're tracking for Thursday. Today, your high 61 degrees, filtered sunshine, average temps for 15 degrees above the average. If we verify with this daytime high. Okay, so your next chance for some active weather is not too far away. We do have a first alert weather day for Thursday because of this, but reminder, today is Tuesday. We also have tomorrow to get outside and enjoy it. We do have a few morning showers in that forecast. A high of 68 degrees would tie the record. We'll unpack that here in a second. And you'll notice a nice breeze, all coming in from the south, really helping us reach that record, of course. Thursday, a high of 66 degrees. We do have the potential for some strong to severe afternoon thunderstorms. Up until these showers and thunderstorms arrive, it'll be mostly dry, a little breezy, not as breezy as Wednesday, mainly just sitting in that warm sector of this big system. And usually when that happens, we're able to gather enough instability, enough fuel for these storms to work with. And that's why Thursday we're having a little bit more concern in the evening hours for those strong thunderstorms. And then Friday, that's when things start to fall back off from spring to winter. Still seeing a high of 55 for Friday, but then winter settles back in just ahead of the weekend. So tomorrow morning, I know we just looked at the high 68. Tomorrow morning is not looking too bad at all. I think you could get away with not having the thickest winter coat. Temperatures only dropping into the middle 50s, maybe the low 50s, but regardless, that is already well above normal for your daytime high, which is going to be in the middle 40s too. And then the afternoon, we do have record-breaking potential. So again, this is going to be for tomorrow, not for today. The current record set in 1948 of 68 degrees, and tomorrow our forecast is 68 degrees. And with winds gusting up to 25, close to 30 miles an hour, maybe an isolated 40-mile-per-hour wind gust can't be ruled out. Direction here is key, really pulling in the warmth and the moisture from the south, and that's going to be the reason why we're able to get pretty close to this record. That's going to be for tomorrow, not a first alert weather day. We do want to unpack that severe risk for Thursday, that first alert weather day though, which the greatest risk looks like it's going to be later on in the evening. Our main concern is going to be strong winds, may prompt a few severe thunderstorm warnings, and then flooding, of course. Not only if we had the snow melting, which most of that has already happened, so not really a huge concern because of it, but adding on top of that, anything is of course going to make for some localized flooding impacts. And then, of course, lower threats, going to be large hail and tornadoes, but they are still threats. We don't very often see what I'm about to show you, which is a slight risk for severe weather in the month of February, in a winter month. And that's just because it's usually pretty cold. Most of the tri-state under that slight risk, what this is showing you and how I'm going to try to explain it is those in the tri-state west of Cincinnati, kind of closer to the center of that yellow, kind of have we have more confidence that you guys have the greatest threat, if that makes sense. Because it'll probably help if I point it out to you guys. But when we talk about the slight risk, we talk about, okay, the bullseye right here, right in the middle of the yellow. But since we are kind of on the eastern side of this, typically what's going to happen is we have a better idea that, hey, right here at the center of this yellow, that's kind of the greatest possibility for severe weather. And if we have a storm system approaching from the west to the east, typically what happens, it's going to be strengthening at its peak intensity here, and then weakening. And that's why you see a slight risk here, but you see a marginal risk on the very eastern side and just a general thunderstorm risk on the far eastern side of Ohio. So that's just our way of saying, hey, while we are on the slight risk, these storms are more than likely going to be weakening as they cross into the tri-state and east. However, we're still tracking that potential for strong winds, maybe some flooding, and then, of course, a lower end threat of large hail and a tornado or two. Now, as far as talking about tomorrow, the record warmth, we're also going to be noticing a stiff breeze from the south. That's why we're able to reach those near record temps. And so the afternoon tomorrow, these winds going to be gusting up to about 35, maybe 40 miles an hour. Again, that's the isolated wind gust. Most of us will just see around 30 miles an hour. And then we roll into your Thursday, and then it becomes more about the storm chances, which, look, there's a chance for a sprinkle on Wednesday, a 30% chance. And then Thursday at the 70, that is that first alert weather day. That is the storm threat that is going to be pulling on through the tri-state later on in the afternoon and into your evening. That is what we're watching for, strong to severe potential. However, the first alert weather day for Thursday is all day. And it's because we're tracking some fog in the morning too. Look at this. Very similar outlook for Thursday morning as I was tracking for yesterday morning. Everybody saw the dense fog yesterday, and I think everyone's going to see it for Thursday morning as well. It depends on the clearing, which we're seeing a good amount of it, but less than half of a mile of visibility for that Thursday morning commute will make for some dangerous conditions. And then the afternoon, temperatures are pretty warm, and then we start talking about the potential for something strong, severe with the showers and storms in the evening. Okay, let's talk about it on your weather timeline, the moment everyone's been waiting for. Here's the tiny chance for rain tomorrow. Look, it looks like it's going to be eyeing the morning hours more than anything, and they really don't have any organization to them. So light, maybe a moderate shower kind of popping up, maybe south and east of Cincinnati by the mid to late morning, but then that's it. Look at this. By the afternoon, we'll see some sun. And this is what's setting up the stage for that foggy overnight. We get that clearing. We have the moisture, we have the warmth. We're going to see the fog for Thursday morning. So more than likely, you'll see the dense fog that affecting that morning commute for Thursday. And then most of the day is dry. I mean, I took you all the way to 6 o'clock in the evening. And then the storm chances really start to ramp up. This model is eyeing an arrival time pretty late in the evening. Others have it earlier. So that's why our time frame really is really large right now, from 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. And this one is kind of on the later side. Some of them have them on the earlier side. Notice it's a pretty thin line of storms coming on in, but these could pack a punch. Strong winds, lightning, heavy rain, and the lesser threats would be hail and a tornado. And then we'll start to see that weekend cross east and exit the tri-state. Okay, let's see if we have any questions coming on in. Jeannie's asking, how bad will Gallatin County get? You guys are under the slight risk, and so I would prepare to, you guys are under the gun for maybe some stronger winds, heavy rain, and some lightning pulling on through. It's a pretty low isolated risk in general, but still with these winter weather storms, thunderstorms, sometimes they can get a little out of hand. So have several ways to receive alerts. This is going to be for Thursday evening. Brenda's saying, thank you for the description of how you guys do the storms. Got it now. Yeah, I'm happy to help. Thanks for tuning in, Brenda. Sabrina's tuning in. We are in false spring. Yeah, false spring temps comes false spring storms for sure. And Sarah's saying, I'm so ready for real spring. I think we're all kind of ready for a little change of pace. And that's why this week, while we're talking about the storms, we are talking about how warm it is. We'll get to that 7-day here in a second. Let's talk about the weekend ahead, because while it is going to be drier, it's going to be colder. We can't rule out just a couple of sprinkles to welcome in your Saturday, but look, partly cloudy skies become mostly sunny in the afternoon, and then Sunday looks dry with some clouds as well. Maybe a flurry tries to come in off of the lakes with a northwesterly wind, but no accumulating snow in that forecast. It is just going to be cold enough for some snow to happen. Okay, unpacking everything here, let's talk about how much rain we can expect through your early weekend, which I know this doesn't have any plots to it, but I think most of us can expect anywhere from 1/2 inch to 1 inch, but with the blue there, some of us may see totals more than 1 inch, closer to 2 inches. Depends on the thunderstorms and if you see them. So spring, we're about a month away from spring. We only have about 31 days until that begins. That's going to be on March 21st, if you can believe it. And daylight saving time begins a little less than 3 weeks. We're going to lose an hour of sleep. Look forward to that. And then St. Patrick's Day is 4 weeks away. So fall, spring, yes, just really getting started. We saw yesterday temperatures were near 50. Today temperatures will near 60. And tomorrow temperatures are going to near 70, which of course would break a record, or tie a record if we see 68, break a record if we see 70. Now Thursday, that first alert weather day, we've got the showers, the storms in the forecast, and we've got enough fuel for it. The big question here is, are we going to have enough moisture to fuel these storms? And if that happens, we'll of course be paying attention. We'll have team coverage here at Fox 19. We'll get you through those storms, which look like they'll be exiting the area dark and early Friday morning, leaving behind a little bit of rain for that Friday morning commute. But overall, the day does get better and better as it goes on Friday. Temps in the middle 50s, dropping into the middle 40s for Saturday and Sunday, in the upper 30s. And it looks like early into next week we'll start to rebound, but not as warm as what we're tracking for this week. And that comes in with the warmer low overnight temps too. Reminder, tomorrow morning you're not going to need the heavy winter coat with temperatures just dropping into the low 50s. I mean, to put in perspective, right now we're still in the 40s across much of the tri-state. And so waking up tomorrow morning at 50 or just a little bit below it, it's going to be warmer waking up tomorrow than it is right now. Pretty interesting. And then we do return to those freezing cold starts once we get through that storm system on Thursday. And here's your first alert extended forecast. Well, let's unpack it because there's a lot to get through. So today, just increasing clouds, temperatures near 60 degrees, and overnight into Wednesday, those temps just falling near 50. So pretty mild stretch of weather over the next few days. Just a few morning showers in that Wednesday forecast, but overall pretty dry, pretty breezy for Ash Wednesday with near record high temperatures. 68, your forecast high, would tie the record set back in 1948. And Thursday, a first alert weather day because of those showers and thunderstorms that could become severe in the evening. Again, the time frame that we're eyeing, pretty wide. We'll hopefully sharpen this a little bit, narrow it down. 5 p.m. Thursday through 1 a.m. on Friday, and temps that afternoon in the middle 60s. So we'll have the heat, but will we have the moisture? We'll have a better idea of that as we get closer. Friday, a little bit rain in the morning, middle 50s, temps falling though throughout the afternoon into the low 30s overnight into Saturday. And then the weekend ahead is something a little bit more true to February for the FC Cincinnati home opener. While it's not going to be 60s and sunny like we're seeing today, it's not going to be wintry either as far as snow goes. Middle 40s for that afternoon high. And then Sunday, we're waking up freezing once again. We're starting to enter more of a stretch of true wintry weather without the snow. Just a few flakes on Monday, though. No accumulating snow. And then we step into next week with a little bit more of a warm up and another chance for storms a week from Thursday. Okay, let's see if we have any other questions coming on in. Okay, Jen's tuning on in. I missed the beginning. I'm sorry. I'm in Alexandria. Do you think we really need to worry about the storms like the tornado side? Let's hope the moisture part stays low. The tornado threat is going to be there. I mean, it's always there for whenever we see a thunderstorm set up in February. And I was actually just looking at the data. I was like, how many times have we seen tornadoes in February. There's only 10 on record since 1950. 10 February tornadoes within the tri-state ever, or I should say, since 1950. So the odds are very low. And yeah, the data is pointing to very low chances as well. It's mainly going to be some strong winds, some thunderstorms, so lightning and some heavy rain. But of course, we want to do our due diligence and be like, hey, a tornado is always possible. So that's if everything comes together. More likely than not going to happen, but it could. We want to stay prepared in case it does. Okay, no other questions coming on in. The time now is 12:16. We'll have a better idea on the latest information on that forecast for Thursday, plus your weekend ahead if you're already excited for it. We'll have that latest forecast for you guys coming up this afternoon on Fox 19 now at 3 o'clock. But for now, signing off here in Queensgate, I'm meteorologist Erin Ashley. Have a great rest of your Tuesday.